Hello and welcome to your online math course. My name is Mr. Radom. I'll be your math teacher. And in this little video that I put together here, I'm just going to go through some of the things you need to know to get started in your course and have a successful startup. You might have some questions even after you've gone through and watched the video, so feel free to email me at any time if you have any questions. But let's get started and then we'll go through some of the resources that you have available to you and how you can access your help and your learning resources.
So the website that you'll use to access all your resources is www.thssmath.com. And then after you've gone to that website, you'll see one of the tabs here is Online Math. So clicking on Online Math will take you to a page that has a few links here. So there's a couple of online teachers, Mr. Payan and then myself, Mr. Radom. So I'll show you my schedule here. So click on this here. A schedule comes up. I use an online classroom site called Collaborate. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But basically, anytime you'd like for me to help you online, just send me an email, jeff_radom@sd42.ca, and then we'll set up a time where it both works for us to get help. So basically, I'm more or less available 24/7. Send me an email. I might not be able to reply to it right away, especially if you send it at 2 in the morning. Yeah, whenever it works out for both of us to log in, I'll give you a hand. Now, sometimes you might want to get help face-to-face. I normally work out at Thomas Haney Secondary School in Maple Ridge, and I'm down in the Math Grade Hall, which is a general work area for students, high school students. So if you're also a high school student and you can make it to Thomas Haney, then I can help you there. If you're an adult student, I have some face-to-face times, but if you send me an email, I can tell you some of those blocks that I'm able to help you. But if you're a high school student, these are the days and the times. So basically all day on Tuesday, 8:45 till noon, 12:30 to 2:30. Same thing on Wednesdays. And on Thursdays, 8:45 to 10:50, 12:30 to 1:30. Now this will depend on, this is what I'm available this year. But if you're watching this video, make sure you check the schedule because it might be different depending on what year this is that you're watching this video. So that's the schedule. You can email me anytime for online help and then see me in the Great Hall if you want to get face-to-face help. So what does that Collaborate classroom look like? Well, that's right here. So let's say you wanted some help online. You shot me an email. This is where you would go to get help online. Click on my link, not Mr. Payan's. It'll ask you if you have the required software. So if you've already got that, like I do, then I'm just going to click Start the Session. I've got to keep something down here, and I've got to open this meeting up. And it just takes a second here to load. Okay, and this is what the online classroom would look like. So there's me in there, but your name would pop up there too. Down here there's a chat room, so you can type some message like I need help with page 56, number 3. Boom, shows up here so that I know that you need help with that. There's a talk button here. You can click on this, and now you're talking live there. So if you have a headset, we can talk back and forth. Once you're done talking, you need to unclick that because only one person can talk at a time. So we can talk back and forth. You can use the chat window, and then this whiteboard here is for me to help you with your work. So if you're stuck on page 56, I'll be doodling away on the screen here. blah, 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 helping you with page 56, number 3, and you're also hearing me talk. So kind of like being face to face, but that's how we can get help wherever you are on the planet. So that's what we can use to get help with your math stuff. So this link is live all the time, so it wouldn't actually hurt for you to go and click on this link even after you've done watching this video, and just make sure it works. If the link doesn't work for you, then you can click on this one here, configure the collaborate, and this takes you to a support site here. So there's some FAQs, frequently asked questions, and you can actually contact some technical support, and they can help you if you're having any problems with the Blackboard Collaborate. There's another good resource here called Learn Now BC for getting help. There's tutoring and study centers. So there's tutors that can help you online too, practice quizzes, instructional videos. There's some math learning resources and some homework help links. So you can check those out. That you may find that useful. So yeah, basically I can help you anytime online. This is the way that I would do that. Just send me an email when you want to do that, and then I'll respond to you, get back to you. So you are taking Math 12 Pre-Calculus, so we can go down here and click on Math 12 Pre-Calculus, or you could simply click here. Takes you straight there as well. So this takes us to all of the resources that we could use for Math 12 Pre-Calc. Don't worry about this MHS resource. That's not something that you'll need. There is a formula sheet here, so clicking on this is going to bring up the formula sheet for the course. You can use this formula sheet on any of the tests that you take in the course. We won't need it for the first little part, but you can see there's a bunch of trig stuff in here. When we get to that unit, you will definitely want to have this formula sheet when you're writing any of your quizzes or tests. So there's a formula sheet there. There's some suggested learning guide completion dates. This is only going to work if you're starting in September and wanting to finish in June. Otherwise, this is not going to be very useful to you. Here, though, the learning guides, this is where all the assignments are. Okay, so clicking on here is going to bring up all of the assignments. I'll click on the first one here, which is actually just your marks record sheet. This is kind of like your course outline, if you like. So you can see there's some all the topics here, and there's 20 learning guides in the course, learning guide 20. So what will happen is the very first learning guide is on transformations. It's part A. There's 2 parts to it. And then the first learning guide, when you do a test, I'll mark it, but it won't necessarily be for marks. So it's just an opportunity for you to see kind of what the Math 12 test look like. You can do it. I'll mark it. I will record the mark, but when you do Learning Guide 2, that test is going to be on Learning Guide 1 and 2. All right, so if you totally bomb Learning Guide 1 test, we can talk about how we can better prepare for them, and you know this one won't count. If you happen to do worse on Learning Guide 2 than you did on Learning Guide 1, I'll keep your mark for Learning Guide 1, and then just put this mark in for Learning Guide 2. So a test here, and then we get to a unit test. Learning Guide 5 is a unit test. So let's just say the average of Learning Guides 1 to 4 here was, I don't know, 70%, and you wrote this unit test and you got 80%. So that tells me that you know this unit at 80 now. So I would go back and replace all these marks with 80%. So this is an opportunity for you to upgrade your mark for that unit. And then there's a 6-7 test, an 8-9 test, so on. Here's another unit test on trig. It'll only cover this unit. All right, so the unit tests don't cover the whole course so far. It's not a cumulative thing, just that unit. Some more guides, another unit test, some more guides, another unit test. And then there is a final exam. And the final exam is also an opportunity for you to improve your entire course mark. All right, so you have an opportunity right even at the very end to improve your mark. So there's the course outline. I'll bring up that first learning guide so you can kind of see what each learning guide is like, and you can see they're all in here. So this is where you would start, Learning Guide 1. Here's your first assignment. And so there's an introduction. Every learning guide will have that. Then there's some expectations. So on the completion of this learning guide, you should be able to do these 3 things. All right, this is what we're going to learn in this guide. The evaluation, I already talked about. The Learning Guide 1 is a quiz. You maybe won't write yours in the test center. We'll talk about where we write tests in a sec. Some resources that you'll need. And then here's that first expectation. So we're going to learn at the very beginning what the effects of horizontal and vertical translations are on the graphs of functions and their equations. So usually each expectation starts off with a video that I've made up that you can take notes on. All right. And then here's some textbook stuff that you do. And you simply follow through the steps here. And then this little book, whenever you see that, that's where you're going to make some notes. Now, some students make a bunch of notes, of course, when they do the video, when they're watching the video. So just make sure when you get to this step that if your video notes don't include these things, that you make sure you add them in. And then here's some textbook questions to complete. And then as you're going through and completing these textbook questions, make sure that you are checking your answers in the answer part of the textbook so that you know that you're doing the questions right. Expectation 2 and 3, we got a couple more videos on those, some work to do in the textbook, an entry to make in your notes. We call it a journal, but it's like your math notes. Something else to do in the textbook, some more notes to make sure you've got in there, some questions to do, and so on. Now here's a review and challenge. If you're reviewing, getting ready for a test at the end, here's some questions you can do. Or maybe you happen to know this stuff already. If you want, you can jump down here and do these questions, and if you can bang all these off, that would mean that you would know all of your material for this learning guide. Now, you are not going to hand any of this homework or this practice stuff into me. Okay, you do as many practice questions as you need to do to understand the concepts in this learning guide. So not everybody's going to necessarily do the same amount of questions because people are coming at this with a different skill set. So you do as many as you feel like you need to do. I'll just show you another resource here then. So let's say, let's back up here after learning guides. There's a thing called practice quizzes. So let's say you've done the questions in the learning guides. You're pretty confident you know what you're doing. You could click on practice quiz, and these are some quick online practice quizzes you can do. There's a bit of multiple choice stuff, some short answer and some problems. And then you can click check your work. Yeah, I didn't answer any of the questions. But it comes up with, it tells you what the answer to the multiple choice is. It was D. Got it wrong because I didn't guess, so on. Here's the short answers, and there's the problem answers. Okay, so you can use that, or you don't have to use that, whatever. It's a resource there. Whoops. It's a resource there for you. So then, there we go. So after you've finished the learning guide, and you feel like you're ready, then you would email me and say, hey, I'm ready for my Learning Guide 1 quiz. And once you've sent me an email, now we have to decide where is it that we're going to do the Learning Guide 1 quiz. So we have 3 options. You could come to Thomas Haney Secondary School, and we have a test center at our school, and you can write your quiz anytime from 8:30 till 2:30. So if that works for you, 8:45 till 2:30. If that works for you, then that's fine. Let me know, hey, I want to write at Thomas Haney, and I'll give you some instructions as to where that test center is. If you'd rather write it at Riverside, I can email the quiz over to Riverside, and they can, Riverside Center, they can supervise your test over there. Or if you're a high school student at another school and there's a teacher who has agreed to supervise you there, I can email them the quiz and you can write it at your home school under an adult's supervision there. And if those three options don't work, then send me an email and we'll try plan D, I guess that would be the fourth. Look at a fourth option. Yeah, so there's also, I forgot to talk about these. Here's where the book is, the textbook. So if you click on this, normally what's going to happen on your computer for the first time is it's going to say this is a password protected page. And so what you'll do is, not too sure why this is underlined here. It's kind of hyperlinked it. There we go. Okay, so it's going to ask for a login, and you're going to put in capital THSS, all capitals. Then it's going to ask for a password, and you're going to put in math, all lowercase letters. And that'll take you to this. And so here's your ebook. It would be the textbook for the entire course. It's a big file. It might take a little while to download, but that'll be your textbook for the entire course. So that's your textbook. There's also the complete worked out textbook solutions by chapter. So this is where you would check your answers. And this is kind of nice because it's all the steps all listed there. So that should be enough to get you going. You might have some other questions, so email me anytime and I'll be happy to answer them and help you out. So yeah, look forward to working with you this year and all the best.